with due respect, Peter is at liberty to do whatever he thinks is in his best interest before we get the impression that anybody is forcing him or pushing him or dragging him or pulling him. No. What are the potential advantage first for Peter before I then go to the potential advantage for PDP? Because that party, People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, in my opinion, owes a southeastern debt. Sir Alex Ekweme, one of the drivers and the founders of this party, dragged the Indigbos into that party. He tried to be president in 1999. He came short in the primary, but notwithstanding that, the Indigbos have been very, very passionate, very consistent with the party. If you look at our numbers in the seasons when we used to win, between 1999 until 2015, including the 2015 and 2019, our biggest numbers came from them. And if you are part of those who believe that the pendulum, when it goes to the north for 8 years, must swing to the south for 8 years, then you have to ask, if the PDP is to go south, where is the equity for them? I hold a very strong view that that equity is in the southeast. Now, for Peter to be able to cash onto that equity, what does Peter bring to the table and what will Peter be earning? On the table is that with very little effort, he will bring in the southeast. He will bring in a lot of the numbers in the south side, never mind the fact that governors are jumping up and down. He will bring in the Christian north, and he will bring in every middle, fair-minded Nigeria that is looking for a different type of country. That's what Peter will bring for PDP. And what will Peter get from PDP? He will be getting, however he even may be lazy with his campaign, he will be getting a grassroots party that understands that you can't go to election without having, what they call, there's one word I'm looking for, escape me now. Those people that agents in every polling unit, he will get that. At the worst outing of PDP, the smallest number we ever got was the one that was allocated in 2023, which is 6.9. Before then, we would always bring in a respectable 12-point-something million, sometimes 12-point-something, and sometimes as high as 22-point-something million. So if Peter thinks that that energy is good for him, it's for him to take that decision. If he doesn't believe that, he's at liberties to go and start struggling positions with people who think that he's a schoolboy who must be invited to come and be number 2, never mind the fact that there's no reason why he should not desire number 1. If Nnamdi Azikiwe was alive today, what would he have said to Peter? He would have said, and I dare guess to Peter that, look, Peter, you have gotten back some political respect for us in Igbo land. Under no circumstance must, if they can, your message, they cannot respect your drive, they cannot respect your passion, then let them go and cast that vote and throw it in the Atlantic Ocean. Just before just after the primaries that produced the president, the ticket in the hands of His Excellency, the last candidate, they had called a meeting of some of the stakeholders, and I had been brave enough to stand up in their midst to say, dear beloved PDP, you cannot have a Peter Obi problem, have a wicked challenge at the same time. You are not going to make it. Unfortunately, his words are words. But if only they know the amount of research that goes into thinking before you can offer them words. Did we make it? In the middle of that campaign, let me share this with you for the purpose of experience. When the campaign was going on and everybody was settled, and our rivals, the APC, started introducing the concept of placeholder, I ran to his alive, Mimiko, and asked that they should please get Peter back into the room with me. Myself, Mimiko, and Peter, and I begged Peter, I said, Peter, now you have gotten to the point where nobody can ignore you. Why don't you let us go back to the PDP and make you the vice president and use Okonwa for a placeholder, because it's not going to bring anything to the table anyway. Peter was a little bit willing and, a little bit undecided. I reported it back to the PDP that at this material point in time, do what our rivals have done. Use Okonwa as placeholder and get Peter back. I called the civil society leaders. I said, okay, what do I need to do? They told me, fund a meeting. If you fund that meeting, we'll do a communique, blah, blah, blah. They didn't listen. Did we win? Okay, we didn't win. What lessons have we learned? Very simple lesson. The political parties on their own can no longer insist that people are just going to vote for you because you are shouting your slogan. The nation and the electorate and younger people are now looking for a different type of leader. I'm not saying that Peter can do it all by himself without help, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying that others cannot win. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if the energy that is driving conversation is anything to go by, they should just beg him back. And they should stop playing games. And we can then solve the southeastern debt we have. And I believe that the PDP must have learned a serious lesson, which is that you can't undermine the gist that has been giving you the most numbers. The only time we struggled was when the Igbos were not backing us. Every time the Igbos had backed us, we didn't struggle. Look at our numbers in Kano. Look at our numbers in the last election in Lagos. Look at our numbers even in Delta, where Okonwa comes from. Look at our numbers in the whole of the South-South. Look at our numbers in the North Central. Look at our numbers in Abuja. Well, my desire is that let us even have competitive parties so that the ideological underpinnings that would drive conversation can be top-notch. Whatever they do that they are calling coalition, as far as I'm concerned, is forum shopping, looking for a platform to activate their ambition. They are entitled to it. With due respect to my party, the PDP, there's a principle called you can't build something on nothing. And they're going to find out that in the recent of the world, they didn't have a neck, they had a stakeholder meeting. Because for you to have a legitimate neck, you will first of all have to put a legitimate notice of that neck to INEC. And that legitimate notice of neck must be signed by whoever is the publicity secretary and the chairman now in acting. If you did not inform, INEC of a legitimate neck, every decision you have there is stakeholder. It's part of the reason why you saw that they couldn't even take any serious decision. They couldn't say yes, they couldn't say no, they couldn't be truthful, they couldn't even be strategic. But hey, it's not bad. The things that we are struggling with, every big party will struggle with it. The APC is still at its infancy. They've just achieved one president and another one in his second year. By the time they achieve about 16 years, they will learn to know that it is not very easy to manage selfish politicians of the Nigerian type of, men. Our people are just damn too selfish. I think the PDP must understand and understand good. They must accept that you can't disobey the law. You can't disobey your constitution. You can't disobey the courts. You can't disobey the Supreme Court. You can do it, believing that you are smart. But I hope that by the time they find out that all of this is all rubbish, it will not be too late. And let me remind them, Zamfara, when we were going to win with now the Minister of State for Defense, Matawale, we only won Zamfara because they said all their votes was cancelled. Let me also remind them that when Gisowike, now Minister of FCT, was coming in 2019 for a second term, it was an easy ride for us because all of the primaries of the APC was cancelled. So if it can happen to them, if we're not very, very careful, it can happen to us. But hey, maybe people like His Excellency and those that are driving the coalition, maybe what an elderly man can see standing, maybe truthfully, what an elderly man can see sitting, maybe truthfully, young people cannot see it even if they climb the tallest Iroko tree. So let's see how it goes. Are we going to continue this kind of mess and be happy with ourselves? Okay, when we get to the bridge, we'll see it. 2 years is gone. We have 1 more year of serious getting our act together, and then we'll go and do the election. May the best man win.
Let's not joke. Peter Obi will be rigged out again in 2027 unless we do some things. There's work to be done. And I'm not talking about campaign. there are millions of Nigerians who already know the value of Peter Obi. Forget all of the propaganda that is out there trying to give a dog a bad name so they can hang it. Nigerians know the truth. Nigerians know the quality and the character and the competence of Peter Obi. And they will vote for him any day. The only problem, as we saw in 2023, was rigging. That is the only problem. Will he be able to overcome in 2027 and be sworn in as the next president of Nigeria? The answer to that is simple. If we do what is necessary. Many of us are putting in a lot of work. We are putting in a lot of advocacy. We're trying to put in and destroy all the propaganda against Peter Obi. And it is commendable. I respect it personally, and I know that many Nigerians respect that many of you are putting in the work. But at the end of the day, success can only be measured if Peter Obi is sitting in Aso Rock as the next president of Nigeria. That is the only success I want. And that is the only success Nigerians deserve and demand. Anything short of that, I am not interested. So the question again I put to you is this. With the way Nigeria is right now, with the way INEC is, with the way the security agencies are behaving, with the way the judiciary is, the security situation in the country, the way the political parties are structured, if election were to be conducted today, can Peter Obi win? And then fast forward to 2027, I ask the same question again. Can Peter Obi win? The answer to that, a simple one, is yes. And in fact, many Nigerians will answer yes. But then they will put a caveat. But they will not give it to him. That was the answer many of us gave in 2023. Yes, Peter Obi can win, but they will not give it to him. Yes, Peter Obi can win, but they will not swear him in. Yes, Peter Obi will win, but they will rig him out. Peter Obi will win if the election is free and fair, but the elections cannot be free and fair because Tinubu is planning to write election. These are the answers that many Nigerians are giving. And I'm not talking about supporters of Peter Obi now. I'm talking about patriotic Nigerians out there. Because of the level of propaganda that has been pushed to paint Tinubu as a rigger of election. In fact, a master rigger. It's a propaganda. Tinubu is only as strong as INEC is allowed to be manipulated. If INEC cannot be manipulated, Tinubu is as weak as any Nigerian candidate. Weak. So how can we make sure that Peter Obi will not be rigged out again in 2027? I don't want to sit here and be doing videos to be complaining in 2027. No. I want to do videos to be celebrating that Peter Obi is going to be sworn in after the elections of February in May 29, 2027. That's what I want to be doing. Celebratory videos. And that is why I am looking ahead and I am seeing the danger signs and I'm calling your attention to it. Don't play Tinubu's game of distraction, engaging in fruitless talks that will distract from taking the fruitful action that will guarantee Peter Obi as the next president of Nigeria. Don't play Tinubu's game. They are all distractions. Without free and fair election, Peter Obi will be rigged out. So the task, the job, the work that you and I have as patriotic Nigerians is, how do we ensure, how do we guarantee that the election of 2027 is free and fair? Many people have their eyes fixed on electoral reforms, and I commend that. But the electoral reform is just plan A, even if we get it. And I'm not saying we cannot get it. Even if they give us electoral reforms by some miracle, I still cannot trust INEC. Maybe you can. I am not as strong as you. I still don't trust INEC. Not to come up with some kind of glitch that will still rig the election in favor of their preferred candidates. So, what can we do? They say they will rig the election of 2027. Yes. Oh, in fact, they say they have written results. Yes. But we go give them fire. We go popo them. So if they are pushing the narrative that they have rigged the election of 2027, what are Nigerians supposed to do? Give up and let them stroll into Aso Rock to continue their term in 2027, to let them stroll? No. We have options that we can try. And we will try them. No matter how difficult or how insurmountable the problems may be, no matter how difficult the options may be, we will try them. And we must try them. If not, Peter Obi will be rigged out again and will be out crying, complaining, oh, Peter Obi is not able to defend his vote. How is he supposed to defend the votes? When the levers of power are already in the wrong hands, in the hands of people that are ready to shoot, to kill. I don't want to complain in 2027. I want to win. When Peter Obi wins, Nigeria wins. Imagine the only politician in Nigeria, I don't even call him a politician, I call him a leader that has had the benefit of being in office and did not steal government money. Even other governors were mocking him that they chop money, they steal money, they loot, they use white elephant project to siphon public funds into private pockets. So they were bragging about it and mocking Peter Obi for it. If there is no reason at all for you as a Nigerian to support Peter Obi, this reason, is one of the reasons that people like me are pulling our weight behind Peter Obi. No other is it a Tinubu? Is it an Atiku? Which one? Which one? Then you have somebody in the person of Peter Obi who decided to leave money behind. Who decided to invest, to create wealth, instead of just coming up with some scheme like the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Railway to siphon public funds into private pockets while using government money or government name to collect the loan to do the job. If a new Nigeria is what we seek, we need people like Peter Obi, if not for anything. Even if Peter Obi will not make things better, for the sake of sending a message to corrupt politicians out there that the people have woken up, if not for any reason, for that reason, we need somebody like Peter Obi. And the only way he gets to be sworn in is for us to prevent rigging. We must prevent rigging. How do we prevent rigging? I've told you it's beyond electoral reforms. We have to take certain steps and actions as citizens of Nigeria. Political party reforms, citizens' election monitoring, the weaponization of poverty to prevent vote selling and vote buying and prevent voter apathy, the weaponization of impunity, and the weaponization of political parties. We need to engage in these solutions. Details are in the description. But the most critical one that I am begging you, if you're still watching this video, I am begging you, is to volunteer as a polling unit marshal. The link is in the description. We need 600,000 polling unit marshal. 600,000 polling unit marshal. 3 polling unit marshals per polling unit. And each of the polling unit marshal does not know the next 2 polling unit marshal in a particular polling unit. And why is this that we need polling unit marshals? We have a real-time election results transmission, collation, and display application. We call it Vote Vision. We have another version called Election Guard. And this application requires volunteers at the polling units to enter the results in triplicates. In triplicates. That's why we need 3 polling unit marshal volunteers per polling unit. And once they enter it from the polling unit, bam, the result is propagated to the ward level collation center, to the state local government level collation center, to the state level collation center, to the national level collation center, and Nigerians will be seeing it in real time. So where INEC deviates, we will see it and point it out immediately. And with the next solution, which is evidence gathering, calm guard, we will have the evidence to back it up, such that the judiciary will have no choice but to defend truth. Such that we won't need to depend on INEC for evidence to defeat INEC in court. Such that we will be the ones singing and dancing in victory, and the riggers or planned riggers will be the ones going to court. We can make it happen. But it starts with you being a volunteer. It's free to volunteer. Absolutely free. Volunteer. The link is in the description. Please, volunteer. If you want free and fair elections in Nigeria, come 2027. We need Peter Obi, and if you love Peter Obi, now is the time for you to work for him. By the time it is 2027, it is already too late. Now is the time, the perfect time to prevent rigging. We have to put structures in place to do what? To prevent rigging. Very, very important. Don't allow yourself to be distracted with the distraction propaganda that is on. Speak truth to power. Expose their lies. But know that that is not enough. More needs to be done. And it's Project Eagle. And coincidentally, electoral reform is one of the 7 action steps of Project Eagle. But what we're saying is, it is not enough. You need the other 6. And you can be a part of it. What are you going to do? Click the link in the description and join. Start by volunteering. Let's take it up from there. Let's show these people that Nigerians have woken up, that Nigerians can indeed send them packing.